The Sophisticated Savage podcast features unfiltered discussions on a variety of topics, including controversial, explicit, and thought-provoking content. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are their own and do not reflect those of the production company or its affiliates. Some discussions may not be suitable for all viewers. This podcast is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised.
Now, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing good, bro. I see somebody over here is relaxing a bit.
This is Irvy. We're gonna have to recheck that contract porque dime.
Yo.
Episode 3 ya tú estás en la playa ya.
Listen, I had told y'all last episode, I was walking down the street, people were looking over at me. I said, oh, snap, they noticed me from the podcast. So I got to business, B. I was like, yo, if y'all trying to get shouted out, is what y'all got to do. And then I got to show people what I do to cope. I just go to the beach, take long walks with the sun setting and stuff like that. So
that's very centering. Do you actually go inside the beach at some point?
Well, I'm technically inside it right now, but do you mean the water? I dipped my toes the other day. It's not too warm right now where I'm at. So
yeah, it looks very wavy out there. Like the waves are a little strong.
You see the palm trees moving, right? My hair, I got like some sticky putty. It's not gonna move, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My sponsors is doing their thing. I know it hasn't been that long, but
yeah, you're moving around.
That's what's up. That salt water helps ground you, so
that's what I heard.
For sure with that. Yeah, pero now, fellas, today, it's been kind of like an eventful week. We got my man Captain America going viral, aka Anthony Mackie. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know cancel culture was still a thing, but I think they were trying to cancel my man for speaking logic. I think I'm gonna pass it along to my man at the beach because he seems like he's ready.
Listen, I have nothing but good news, but this right here just like touches me the wrong way because the whole thing with raising boys, and I know my man's up top. They got their kids. I help raise 2 boys, and the thing with raising boys that we need to understand is that they are eventually going to be men. And the thing is this: when they are men, so that he touched on, he had mentioned that he doesn't spoil them. Basically, he doesn't get them all the top stuff so they can remain within a humble territory so they can know of themselves, things like that. And he lets his eldest know, hey, you're the man of the house, because the dude is probably out weeks, months at a time filming to make sure that he has to provide for his family. And he's like, yo, you're the man of the house. Make sure that everything is set. Make sure things are. So he's letting him know, be grown about it.
Yeah.
I don't know where this took a turn for them to be like, oh no, he's saying the wrong thing, this and this. Because if he were a 32-year-old man and he was like, I'm not checking the locks, baby, can you go check the locks? Can you do this? Then it's a problem. You instill these things when they're young. Landon, little boy, 10 years old, I ask him a question, he knows how to answer it. And he answers it with character. What are you? I'm a young man. All right. And what am I raising? A man of character. And he'll respond the same way. So when he's saying, my boys always say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Thank you. Hold the door for a lady. I don't see anything wrong with those things. You want to go ahead and cancel somebody for being abusive? You want to go cancel somebody? Alexa, office on. He's disrespectful, B. You want to cancel somebody for being abusive. You want to cancel somebody for doing fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that can continue. But for being a father, for raising his children the way he understands, and his children aren't abused or anything like that, come on, you have to be a little more reasonable than that. We need to have a little more, a better sense of community, better sense of compassion for our men in these streets that are trying to do right. Like, what is the real issue here? And he dove in on that too, that, masculinity has been, for the last 20 years, it's been dying. It's been, people are just trying to kill it off. And it's like, y'all might not see it, but why do you think and we touched on this last episode, why do you think we shut up? Why do you think we don't feel like we have a safe space to speak? Why do you think that these things affect us so much? We do carry the burden, a lot of it, yes, because we think about a lot of things, but why do we do those things? So do you want us to be ain't shit dudes that don't really want to take things on our plate, don't really want to protect and provide, and want to be like, oh my God, no, we're equal? Because I find beauty in our differences. I find plenty of beauty in our differences. And I feel like this dude has done nothing wrong for him to receive any kind of backlash. If anything, he should be praised for being present and for wanting to educate his children, his boys, so that when they grow, they can treat a woman the way she deserves to be treated, the way her father would have wanted her to be treated, and so that we can continue building on stuff like that. So yeah, I feel very strongly about this, and I can't be convinced otherwise. For this, I'm closed minded. For this, I'm closed minded because I don't see an issue with it, B. So maybe I don't know, but that's the extent. And
Honestly, Irv, I can't really disagree with anything you just said. If you wanted somebody to disagree with you, you're in the wrong podcast. Um,
gosh darn it! Thought we would
Honestly,
argue.
those are very valid points. I don't think, and for those who haven't seen the interview, this is Anthony Mack, the actor for Captain America. He did an interview with the Pivot podcast.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Shout out to the Pivot podcast. It's a really, I like them a lot. They get vulnerable in there too. And I really, I like I like what they're doing. They bring all sorts of cats in there and like different backgrounds, similar backgrounds. And they just go over there to kind of see how it is that they made it to where they're at today. So, long story short, Anthony Mack, he, as Urban was articulating, he was basically just um, describing his parenting style with especially with specifically with his sons. And to me, it just seemed like he was just trying to teach them discipline, respect, teach them about duty as a man, um, teaching them how, as a man, you're expected to be the protector. You're expected to be to hold things down, and also to lead by example, especially if you're the oldest son. And that's all I heard him say. But I don't know how people were able to twist and turn this thing and labeled him as like toxic masculinity. And and guess what? They are actually proving his point. They're proving his point by
To
the
it too.
backlash that he was getting. Those same people, it's not everybody, but like there's like a certain group of people, I don't know. Maybe they're bots, hopefully. But they just like they literally proves this point. Like masculinity for straight men has been dying for the last 20 years. And people, for whatever reason, he didn't even give a reason. He didn't give no conspiracy, nothing. He was just there like, it is what it is. This is what we're dealing with right now. And like Irvin said, this is why sometimes a lot of young men, don't like to be vulnerable. They don't like to express themselves. And because they don't find that safe space to do that. So, because the little that you start trying to express yourself, you get labeled as some, I don't know, like you're being toxic or whatever. You're trying to, I don't know, they try to twist and deflect and turn it into something that is not, when in reality, you're just, and I'm not the type of person to even get into another person's parenting style. Like those are your kids, and you parent them how you want. As long as you're not abusing them, as long as you're not being abusive, then I'm all for it. You know. But what are your thoughts? Let's turn it to the to the two fathers of the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I'll take a little bit of a different angle on it. Um, I agree with what you guys are saying. I have no issue with what he said. Um, my issue is that I feel like these people who are trying to cancel, they're taking a weird angle towards it. They're including things that have nothing to do with what he said. He's being very straightforward about what he means, his parenting style, the way he's raising his boys. And I think it's people are starting to say like basically like oh, so what about the woman? Or something like that. And it's like, well, he's not talking about that. He's being very specific about what he's targeting, not targeting, what he's talking about. Um, so I don't, the cancel culture stuff is what I don't understand, but
Is it even real at this point?
social media will social media, I guess.
Like, is it even a real thing?
I don't think it's a real thing, son.
I think it's
It
just in
can't
the
be.
abyss somewhere.
It can't be, son. Look, there are to me there are four pillars of masculinity, B. There's duty, which you said, responsibility, which you mentioned as well. There's uh integrity. You must have integrity in all you do. So be the same person, no matter who's in the room, outside the room, whatever. And then you have to have, damn, what was the fourth one? I've been saying this all damn week. Duty, responsibility, integrity, and come on, Caesar, help me out on this one because I know I've said it to you.
Character?
Was it respect or was it I don't know, man. But once you
I literally had it first before I even started speaking, but we're having technical issues. But they are. I'll get back to you on that one. But he's not straying from any of that. He's so cancel culture just they missed me with this one.
Yeah.
They really did.
So it's weird because I feel like he's just preparing his boys to be able to carry on and be men when he's not there. So I don't really see anything wrong with it. Like, check the windows, check the doors, do like a sweep of the house, make everything's good before you go to sleep. Like, those are good things to instill into anybody, but specifically, the man figure of the house, especially when he's not there because he's an actor, so he's traveling a lot. So he's basically just showing him and telling him like this is what I would do if I would be here. Is like, I'll make sure y'all all good before I'll be the last one to go to sleep. I'm making sure everything is good before I go to sleep. So this is what I'm expecting out of you. Especially like I think his boys were like teenagers already, like 15, 16. Like these are the things that you need to do to be the man of the house, basically, or of this house at least, right? So I agree with him too. And funny enough, like I wasn't raised with my father, but my mother kind of like instilled some of those things into me because I became technically the man of the house because my brother had gotten married and moved away, and it was just me and my mom. So then I had to like make sure everything is good, help her with everything, you know, make sure that we were solid. And it was a lot of it I saw from my brother growing up, but then my mom also would check me and make sure like you need to do this, you need to do that, throw out the trash, make sure you lock the door when you get home, this and that. So like I get it, and I don't think it's just toxic maxi. I don't think it's toxic maxi. Whatever. I'm not gonna go through this like that video we just saw earlier today. Um, I think it's just like the duties of a man, basically, of the head of the household. These are the things that you need to be able to do to be able to, be fit that role basically and move around in this world properly. You got to be accountable and carry yourself with responsibility, basically, because you're responsible for a house. So
Accountability. Thank you, Hasio. You're the best.
That's what it was,
That's
accountability.
what and that's a big one, B.
hey, what's the word? Masculinity. I got it.
Masculinity.
Yeah, masculinity. I think
We got
I
this.
think that's a more important word.
We got this.
That's the subject title.
Conscientious.
Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to input the video though. We're gonna have to put the video.
We do.
But
Didn't you share that video,
That was Roberto.
Roberto? Of course, it'd be Roberto.
I did like that you mentioned that he does travel a lot because he has to act and stuff. So like you put things into perspective. Like he's not gonna be there all the time. And he could FaceTime them and stuff like that, but he's not really present all the time with them. So he's trying to kind of implement all those like positive, good masculine qualities to his son, so that they are able to self be self sufficient while he's not there,
Yeah.
and they keep things afloat. Which all I'm hearing is positivity, to be honest.
Yeah, and to take it a little bit further, like we were mentioning, he's not home, so like FaceTiming is not gonna stop a burglary or anything like that, which he mentioned too. Like, having all the money in the world is not gonna stop anybody from breaking in and causing harm and stuff like that. So he's just trying to prepare his boys for the world, and I think that's some real stuff because not everybody does that. Not everybody prepares their kids to get ready for the world. And a lot of kids are sheltered, grow up soft, etc., whatever, with this new era, especially with masculinity dying. And the world hits them in the face and they don't know how to deal. And
And there's that other aspect. So I think Roberto mentioned, that people are like, oh, but what about the woman? He's taking the proper steps to make sure that the boys know I gotta protect my mom at all costs. Like, he gotta go make his living, which is what you just mentioned, LCO. And to Roberto's point, it's like, yo, he's letting his sons know you gotta protect mom. That is protect the house, protect everybody in there, but you have a lady in the house, she's older than you, but you don't have this is your responsibility. It's your duty. Holding him accountable for it and making sure he's integritous. There we go. So we could go there, but it's like, come on, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame, truly.
Also, though, I feel like it's people are twisting what he's saying, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, who are we to question how he parents his boys, how he decides to raise his kids and stuff like that? Especially like we
Right.
say, as I said, it's not like it's not abusive, it's not, nothing malicious is going on. So I feel like people are twisting it almost. I don't know, man. It rubs me the wrong way, honestly.
I mean, on that note, I mean, I know we mentioned kind of what Anthony Mack expects from his sons or whatnot. Like, what from your perspectives, what do y'all think is expected from a healthy male, un chambalan nowadays?
in what aspects and like how they carry themselves in the world?
I guess maybe let's do in a household. A man with his wife, possible kids.
Probably
Like,
most
what
of
what,
the
what are possible roles that you guys, have? What are different hats that y'all gotta like wear?
um
Like, what's expected of y'all?
uh,
Whatever needs to get done, bro.
basically.
That's how I see it. Whatever needs to
Yeah.
get done. And the shit is this. If I'm not present, things gotta keep moving anyway. So whatever needs to get done, but also, so for example, I hope Rays, you already know, Landon, Aiden, they're now 10 and 14, been in their lives the last 9 years. So little things like if you see that the the trash is full, you take care of it. If you see that your mom needs help with something, you take care of it. You ask her how she's doing. You walk by her room, you're gonna get some water. Hey, do you like some water? To be considerate. So it's you do whatever needs to be done. So like I've been watching a lot of these videos where they're like, what do you bring to the table? That's a big question a lot of people want to ask. What do you bring to the table? And if you have a set amount of things that you bring to the table, yo, if I bring up pernil, she might not eat pernil, B. That might just be my pernil for me that I like. But if the table, when you have a gathering, they're like, yo, somebody needs to bring soda, somebody needs to bring empanadas. I don't go nowhere if there's no empanadas to start off. And I almost ditched the wedding because I didn't have empanadas.
Mm.
So, you know, I feel like as a man, my duty is to make sure that I provide whatever is missing. And that doesn't mean that I do everything. That doesn't mean that my lady can just it's just whatever. She doesn't have to do anything. But what she provides for me, as long as if I have what it is that I want, I can give her what it is that she wants and needs, and vice versa. And it's a everything's a balance, and we touched on that too. So I think as a man, as a father, as a son, I always say this: the three things that I'm gonna succeed in life the most, and that I'm gonna be proud no matter what, as long as these three things get done: a great son to my mother, a great father to my kids, and a great husband to my wife. Those are three things right there that, as long as I get those things done, I feel like I would have seriously lived a fulfilled life. I feel like all this other extra shit is pretty superficial, but those three things, I don't feel like there's much outside of those things that would fulfill you on every level, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. When you have the right person by your side, when you have family environment, when you have those things, you're good. So what's the cost for you to have to pick up extra things, or do what it is you must do for you to fulfill your duty, for you to take care of your responsibilities? I think that's a great trade-off. So as a man, I think you provide what it is that needs to be provided. You give what needs to be given. That's it. Because the right woman, regardless, is gonna quiet whatever demons you got, whatever peace you need. She's just gonna know that woman's intuition, when it's the right person, it serves so much, son. It's like, damn.
Yeah, I think you touched on three great points: the great son to your mother, great husband to your wife, and a great father to your kids. Those three things, I think, encompass everything a man should try like to aim for, especially a family man. Because there's things like you can't really quantify, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Like things to do. Like I remember being like in a trying to be a great son to my mom. Like my mom used to have like a lot of body aches or foot pains and stuff like that. She'd be like, "Ay, Hazel, dame un masaje, que me duele el cuerpo." And those are things like you just have to like do because you love them, and like, you know, that's what a man does, right? Like you do what needs to be done to get things done, to get the job done, whatever it may be. Painting the wall, fixing the tile, fixing the toilet, washing the bathroom, cleaning shit out the kids' diapers, anything, right? Fixing the car, massages, all of that stuff. So like, yeah, it's all of that stuff. And like just hearing you say that, I'm like, damn, there's like specific things you can do for each of those people that will make you a better man, basically. And it'll make
Period.
you realize your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, the things you don't want to lose, the things you aim to better. Um, yeah, and I think that was a profound moment you just said. Like it clicked for me, so I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's a click.
That's a click. Oh, that's it. Another thing, Landon has this thing because Landon saw me get his mother flowers all the time. So Landon has this thing. If he walks by some flowers, he'll pick flowers. So they're very observant, these children, B.
Mhm.
So she'll get home and then she'll just have flowers there. Obviously little bits like that. But the point is, these kids, whatever it is you do as their father, B, that they're gonna become that. They're gonna, whatever it is they see, whatever you show them, whatever you tell them, you're their superhero, and they're
Yeah,
gonna become that. So if you're not instilling stuff like that in them, they're just gonna pass that along to the next chick, and there's gonna be a father just like us that's gonna be like, "Yo, why is this little asshole treating my daughter like this? Why is this grown man not know how to treat a woman?"
yeah. And on the flip side of that, I have a daughter, so like when I buy the mom flowers, I gotta buy her flowers, because like she
That's
needs to
true.
know how to be treated by a man also.
That is
And I take
correct.
my daughter on dates. We go out and eat, we go out for walks and stuff like that. So it's another thing, like as a man raising daughters, things you need to do, like to instill a good like role model or good image of what a man can be. Because a lot of women think that men aren't shit and this and that. And, I choose to say like women just make bad decisions or bad choices and stuff like that, because not all men are bad, but they just happen to choose the bad men. But Yeah, I think doing that is important as well.
We're always leading. We're being able to um, lead by example. I think is so important. Like it's like Irvin says, kids are always their brains are like super like brand new computers. So everything is gonna register a lot quicker for them. They could learn languages a lot quicker, like everything. So imagine all the actions that you're doing on a day to day, expressing your love language to to the mom or whatever. They're seeing they feel everything too. They're very intuitive as well. Kids know way too much, and we always have to remind ourselves that that there's somebody here that's always looking at our every move, so we have to act accordingly
Yeah.
and ask ourselves, what kind of person would I like to look up to?
That's that integrity part, be an integritous person, be an integritous man.
Yeah. One thing I can say, one thing to note is like intimacy. Kind of have to be careful with intimacy, like showing affection, kisses, hugs, groping, things like that, because they might see that and think it's okay to like touch somebody's butt or try to kiss on somebody like another schoolmate or something like that because they don't understand, but they've been watching you. Um, so I think that's something to know too, because like I've had a situation recently where one of my boys was like
Of course.
filling up on his teacher, and it's like we got a call like, "Yo, your son is over here." Your son is over here being a little too touchy or handsy, and we had to like talk to him about it and stuff. Like, it's innocent, but they're observant, so you gotta be mindful of that.
Leading by example.
Yeah, basically, too much leading, man. Gotta know when to lead, right? Gotta know when to lead.
He's like,
Yo,
he's like, well, the teacher takes care of me too, so
No. Thank you for sharing that, though. That's that it's good to know, man. You just sometimes you do shit subconsciously, and you you think you're
Yeah,
doing
true.
you think you're doing something good because you're demonstrating love to your wife or whatever. But then,
yeah,
like, yeah, but now my little one thinks he could do that to his teacher, who's his crush. What are you gonna say, Roberto? Sorry.
yeah, no, I just kind of wanted to go back and kind of reiterate it and kind of clear up some of the points I was making earlier because I personally don't want to get Anthony Mackie myself with these comments. So, I mentioned like, in his comments and in his on the Pivot podcast, he was talking he wasn't talking about like the woman, and that's kind of what I mentioned. And what I mean by that is he wasn't necessarily excluding the woman. It's just not part of the conversation in the context of which he's talking. He's specifically talking about raising his boys to be men, and that's it. He's not excluding anyone. He's not, looking down on any group of people or whatever the case may be. He's talking about specifically him and his boys, the relationship they have, how he's raising those kids to be young men. And me having a boy myself, he's 7 years old. I remember going to New York to visit Ya, and the kid was probably 4 or 5 years old. And I would go up to him and be like, hey, when I leave, I'm going to go see my friends, take care of mommy. Do I expect him to be the dude to take care of, the house if somebody tries to break in? No, I know my wife is going to be the one to be at the front lines. But I want to instill those values into my son very early on so that when he is 15, when he is 25, when he is 35, he already has these values built into him. Because the way I look at things too is I'm not just raising my son to be um, a young man that protects my wife and his sister. I'm also raising that boy to protect not you guys, but your daughter. He's going to be somebody's future husband. So I want to make sure he's going to be somebody's future father. So I want to make sure that when he gets to that age, he has those values and he's the one that steps up and says, I got you. And then the flip side to that too, like, yeah, I have a daughter, she's about to turn 6 months. I'm gonna instill some of those values in her as well. Don't depend on a man, but find yourself a man who's willing to step up for you when needed, to be that man in the house and do what he has to do to have your back. Not that you need it, but find one that, you know, has those values already instilled in him. Because honestly, you know, if I don't teach my boy these values here at home, some dirtbag may teach him something that, you know, won't be great for him to learn and to be like as a man when he does get older. You know, so that's kind of, I wanted to clear that up too. But yeah.
Wow.
And I don't have
And
any,
that's important too.
yeah, and I don't have any issue with, like I said earlier, I don't have any issue with his comments at all. Because again, he's not excluding any group of people. He's just talking about this is how I raise my boys. And that's that.
The foresight of that is important too, because like you said, I'm instilling these values in them because at some point he is going to be somebody's husband. At some point he is going to be somebody's father. So you do start off early with that, son, because I think earlier in the conversation, Cesar mentioned what did he say? Sorry, it feels like forever ago. I think Cesar mentioned something along those lines. So I'll leave it. I'll leave it there. But that's important, man. It's important because your name is attached to him anyway. He's a Durant. So
Yeah. And it's not even being like, people are gonna look at it and be like, "Oh, that's toxic masculinity." It's not toxic. It's
masculinity.
yeah, exactly, and it's reality too.
You know what
know,
this thing is about toxic masculinity is? I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's like the more masculine you are, the more toxic it is, up until it's time to be masculine. So they attach the word toxic to it. That means you're not letting me do whatever the fuck it is I want to do. Well, sometimes I don't always do whatever the fuck it is I want to do. Sometimes I just do what I must as a masculine man. And sometimes I don't do what the fuck I want to do. I do what my lady tells me to do. Like it's not. I don't understand when it became all right to be pitted against each other. We got to a point women didn't have their rights. Men were being pigs. All right, I get it. They took it a little overboard. Now we can get to a middle ground. Instead of getting to the middle ground, we want to be on opposite extremes. And it's like, what is the point of that? What is the point of that?
and to add to that, to piggyback off of that, we're not in competition with women, and women should not be in
No.
competition with men. And this is going back to what I said about in the relationship episode. It's 100, right? So I'm gonna give you 100%. You're gonna give me 100%. But we're not competing to see who does more, who does less. I'll give you the example today. We both get home from work. We're both tired as shit. I know I could tell my wife is checked out. She had a very long day. So what do? I don't ask. I get in the kitchen, I make dinner, boom. While I'm doing that, she's making sure the kids aren't freaking out, doing all this stuff. That's 100 to me. I'm gonna hold it down in the kitchen. I'm gonna clean this house up. I'm gonna get it all set. And I don't even have to tell her, yo, can you watch the kids while I do that? No, because we're not competing. We're not keeping a scorecard of who's doing what. This isn't, you know, who got the most points today, who did the most, who did this. It ain't about that. We're not competing. It's, you know, my responsibility is I got to make sure that my kingdom is set. You know, if that means I got to put a little bit less on my plate, like literally a little bit less on my plate to make sure that my wife and kids eat, I'm gonna do that because I'm good. But that's the values that I have as a man in the house. You know, I got to make sure that the lights turn on. I got to make sure that my table is set and that my family is good. Because once that's good, I'm good.
You do what you got to do.
Talk
Yeah.
that talk. And if you are competing, it would be because you guys are on the same team. And you have one common goal, which is to provide a better present future for your kids and for each other. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, like if you guys had set shit that you went over to, you finished work and you got home and you just had she's supposed to be cooking while you gotta catch up on your sports. Like to me, that doesn't make sense either. But you did what it is you had to do. She did what she had to do. Y'all both did what you had to do to make sure that at the end of the night, kids are good. You guys are good, able to be next to each other, and you still have time to take care of your duties when it comes to outside of the family, which is sitting here and doing this podcast. Like, you still, all right, what can we get done? And I imagine right now, she's still doing whatever she got to do.
Yeah,
What
man.
happened, Cesar? I saw
Huh?
the head nod. I saw the head nod.
Nah, I was just saying, like, yeah, man. Like,
Yeah, man.
man, teamwork, man. It's all about that teamwork. Competing
Yeah, I don't be
against,
getting.
like,
Go ahead.
like we're not getting into these like relationships to be competing with each other. Like, that's just not. That's not the. That's not part of the playbook. Like, you know, all we do sometimes is like, and it might get misconstrued. I don't know nowadays, but we just try to be the best role model we can be for for our loved ones. As men, that's all we try to do. We try to lead by example. That's it. It's
And honestly too, man, like again, like I'm raising my boy to be the best husband and father he can be. Is he gonna be perfect? No. Am I perfect? No. But when I, started dating my wife, I know that her parents trusted me enough to date their daughter, to marry the daughter. I asked for her hand in marriage. They said, yeah, they were like, absolutely. You don't even have to ask. But it's because I brought those values early on. They knew that they could trust me to protect their daughter. Not that she needed me. To this day, she probably doesn't need, because she could do whatever she has to do on her own. She's perfectly capable. But, I bring those values. They trusted me that, yeah, this is the man that I want my daughter to be with, because I know that he got her. And that's that. And that's all. I think that's all Anthony Mackie was trying to kind of convey in his talk. And that's exactly what, what I'm trying to do with my boy. I want to make sure that when he steps into his girl's family's house, they know that it's a boy with good values, it's a young man with values, and he's going to protect their daughter by any means necessary.
I love that you mentioned that too, because thanks to our parents, we were welcome at any house. This dude Irv can show up to my house whenever he wants and say hi to I don't even have to be in my house. If my grandmother's here, he could come over here, chill with her for a few hours. Why? Because of the values that he was brought up. Like, shout out to Soy, shout out to Earth's pops. They did great with him, and we're just trying to continue the trend with
That's a
our
true story
offerings.
too.
No, yeah, that
Cesar
was
was at work one time, and I showed up at his crib unannounced. Didn't text him, didn't nothing. He got home at like 5, 6 o'clock, and I was just in the living room, and Pooper started roasting him right off the bat. Mira Juan Bobo que llega ahí. Ah. Roasting. I was like, yo, what up, B? And I'm watching Caso Cerrado for 3, 4 hours, just chilling. Again, she cooked for me and everything. She'd be like, Irvin, next time you come over here, let me know so I can make you some food. On point, B.
probably watching reruns and shit.
Oh, yeah. Reruns of the show, reruns of the jokes. I must have heard the same joke like 4 times that day. That Juan Bobo joke, that was like the 3rd time that day. She was just going off on this motherfucker. But nah, it's true. Like this joint spreads out, being like it's not just the way you treat your immediate family. It's also people can see that. People can see that. So when I go on interviews and people are like, "Oh, you're so nice," I'm always like, "Yeah, I have a great mother I was raised by," and shit like that. So those values they come early and they come often, and if you're fortunate enough, you get to see both sides of the coin. You know what I'm saying? You get to see masculinity and you see femininity, and you get to incorporate that into yourself because I'm very in tune with my feminine side, and I'm not gonna say it's 50-50 because I think that's blasphemous, but I could give myself a solid 80-20, B. You see me, yo, if you follow me on IG, Irvm Gill 15, you see me post a bunch of love shit, then you see me post just random laughter joints. You see me I'm eclectic as hell. You know where the hell I'm coming from. But you understand that I got no shame in my game. I love, and you'll see that shit out there, B. So it's important to include all of that, every aspect, give those values and everything like that.
Yeah, it has to be a very healthy balance.
And what I challenge people to ask themselves, anybody interested. What kind of man would you want to be with?
Mm.
Would you want to be with the man that's just like nonchalant, just like, well, está bien, you can do it, or do you want him to be more assertive? Because any conversation I have with a woman, she's like, oh, I like it when a man leads, and this. Well, that comes with certain things. For somebody to be a good leader, they need to have, say it blatantly, a good follower, somebody who listens and everything like that. But to be a good leader, you also got to listen too. So like, it's a little bit of everything, man. It's a little bit of everything. I think those values, like you mentioned, they instill that little bit of everything into you. Protect your mother is not just, oh, I gotta like, that sticks with him. He's like, all right, the reason why I gotta make sure that all this is good is to make sure that she's good, and that's gonna translate to everything else.
Hey, so you deep in thought, bro.
Yeah, porque yo me voy para otro lado ahora. Okay, yo estoy por irme para otro lado, casi.
Hmm.
Nah, I don't know why this thought just came to me, but I was just thinking about struggles and stuff, like emotional struggles that we go through sometimes. Like, and I was just wondering, like, what with which emotion do y'all struggle with the most?
Mm,
What
that's
do
a
you mean,
great
which
question.
emotion?
You
Like, you
seen?
talking about like anger,
Yes,
or
yes.
like,
You seen like Inside Out, like the movie Inside Out, like anger, sadness, anxiety, like
see,
and like when you experience Roberta, for example, like maybe your son going through like having trouble expressing those emotions, like what are some certain tips that you would give him to like calm him down?
Honestly, I go down to his level because I know he's not. Listen, we're probably not fully developed at our age, so I can only imagine someone who's only been on this earth for quite literally 7 years and some change. So the emotions that he probably feels are confusing as shit for him because he may not understand why he's angry, or he may think he knows why he's angry. So one of the things I do is I kind of go down to his level when he's ready.
Mm,
I go down to his level. I'll look him in the eyes. I'll hold his head, hold his face, and be like, yo, talk to me. Why do you feel what you feel? And, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, he tells me why. He expresses it, oh, because I wanted to do whatever the case may be, whatever the situation is. Um, and I also think about like if I was him or when I was him at his age, how would I want someone to speak to me?
mm,
And that's huge for me because I spoke in the last episode, like, my family, we didn't really talk about like our feelings like that. So there were a lot of unresolved feelings that just kind of swept under the rug. I'll figure it out later. So, giving him the space to be able to feel those emotions, help him understand why he's feeling those emotions, kind of talk out those things, talk through it, I think is important. And it's something that, again, I wish that I had when I was 7 years old and I'm crying in the back or doing whatever, feeling this anger and all this other stuff.
so that's I think that's a really great approach to have, mainly because that's what I would end up doing with Landon. So I think it's very important that the reason why he's so comfortable with telling you what he's telling you is because you've already established that environment. You've already been like, yo, it's all right for you to speak. Not only are you not literally talking down to him, you're coming down face to face, giving respect. I think that's one very important. Um, Two, letting him vocalize what he's feeling, letting him vocalize all those thoughts, whatever it is he got to say. I think that's very important. What I used to do, or what I would do now, I mean, Landon at this point, he's 10, Aiden's 14. What I would do is I would do exactly what Brendan was doing. Come down to them, have them express themselves. And if he can't get it out because he's still like breathing hard or crying, yeah, all right, let it pass, calm down. And then I let them, all right, so what is that bothering you? But also being able to dissect it, find a solution, and try to have him see what it is that's having him that way. Because sometimes it could be a small thing. To him, it's a big thing. But to let him realize, okay, so this is what happened. What do you think? Why do you think that's affecting us all? Because of this reason. I lost in the video game. All right. So what do you think you can do to prevent this from happening? I can practice and I can keep getting better. All right, cool. Are you gonna stop playing the game because you lost today? No, I'm not. Okay, so then you gotta be able to lose and then keep moving forward. And I know that's something very minuscule, but as a 7-year-old, that could happen. Now, if it's something bigger, my friends are mean to me. Okay, what friends were these? What did they say? Do you think they're really your friends? Does it matter? Who's your best friend? Oh, I got Aiden right there. Exactly. That's your best. So like, not just letting him tell me what it is that he's feeling. I also let him know like it's all right to feel it, but you got to find a solution for it. Today, I had a rough ass day today. And so you mentioned Cesar, how do you deal? What's the toughest emotion to deal with? I think that when you're sad, that shit is tough. You gotta sit there, you gotta sit with it. And thankfully I had the space to sit with it today. The whole day I was like, yo, damn, this is tough. But I still got my push-ups in, still got my food in, I still wrote, I still went outside and got some fresh air. I still did things that I had to do to move forward, even though I felt like this cloud of sadness. And that's just gonna happen every once in a while. I think as a society, we've become soft in that aspect. I don't want to say soft, and people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's being so rough with it." I mean that it's become the norm to be like, "Oh my God, I'm feeling this," and then for it to be like an excuse to derail other things. Like we need to be able to understand, like, yeah, we're going through something, but this too shall pass. And I made a video and I posted it with the analogy of the cow and the buffalo, how the cow runs away from the storm and the buffalo sits in that storm, lets it pass, and then enjoys the grass. And I feel strongly about that. Today was one of those days. I had a storm passing through, and I could have avoided it. I could have hit Cesar and been like, yo, Cesar, we out to the bar, B. Yo, Cesar, what's good? Because Cesar ain't going to say no to me. I could have been like, yo, Haciel, we out. Haciel not going to say no. But I chose to stay there, find out what it is I'm feeling, and then even though, like, when Roberto called me, yo, you jumping on the episode? I wasn't going to say no. I wasn't going to say no. This is a very big episode about masculinity. And what kind of integrity would I have if I'm just out here being like, you guys can't be sad. You guys got to get over things and, be strong and move forward. And I'm there sitting on my couch like, I can't do this today, guys. No, sometimes you got to just bear down and be able to do what you got to do. And that applies whether you're a man or a woman, because there are families that rely on the woman heavily, or families that are on the man heavily. Like Roberto said, it's 100. So to me, sadness is pretty hard to overcome. A lot of them are. I don't think anger really, I could walk away from something but like, you know what, it's not even worth it. But sadness is more of like, it's a feeling I'm getting because of something that I myself am going through based off the choices that I myself made. So it's a lot of self-reflection you got to do. You got to understand that you're there in that particular moment because of decisions you made, things you chose to do, things you chose to say, where you chose to partake in, who you chose to partake with. All of that, whatever it was, led you to this very moment today. So I think that's why it's the toughest. You got to self-reflect a lot and be like, yo, I'm in this predicament because of me. What can I do to change that moving forward? And the longer you stay in those feelings, the tougher it becomes, because it starts affecting everything else and everyone else around you. And I think I said that earlier, that I can't really say I love somebody in the relationship episode if I'm putting them through the same kind of hardship I put myself through. Doesn't make much sense to me. So that's your mind travels to great places, B.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And
that's
I love what you said there about that it was your choices that led to that sadness. Like we chose something down the line, an attachment, whatever it is.
Yep.
But we chose to be attached to something that now might have gotten ruptured, and that's why we're sad.
Yeah.
So taking that ownership to try to like do, and I love that you did all the little things. I one of my favorite songs, One Direction, Little Things. We always one of my go-tos in karaoke, but like if this is in a different context, doing the little things when you feel that way, when you're feeling that sad is so key. Like
I saw you
so
smiling when I was saying that.
huh?
I was like, look at him. I saw you smiling when I was saying that. Look at him. Look how proud he is.
Yeah, man, because it resonates, it hits. So I love that shit.
Yeah, I think for me the emotion would be sorrow. So a little bit to piggyback off of what you said, Irv. Kind of like sadness and sorrow kind of go hand in hand. So definitely sadness as well, but probably for me is sorrow because I feel like it lasts longer, like it lingers longer. And it's also because of like decisions that you might have made or like disappointment for yourself or just grief, for whatever reason. I'm losing somebody or just heartbreak or major setback. So living in that sorrow and dealing with that sorrow and that sadness is very difficult and kind of hard to get over. Not sure how you really get over it, but besides doing like the little things to kind of make yourself feel better and dig yourself out of that sadness or sorrow that you're feeling. So that's the emotion I was definitely thinking of when you were talking. I'm like, yeah, sadness and sorrow for me as well. So
Mm.
Can
yeah.
I tell you one that may be a little bit out of the box? Is
No.
guilt. Guilt.
Yeah.
Oh,
The feeling of
I
guilt.
was
Mm.
Yeah.
thinking guilt, man.
Like for me, and this goes back to, being a man too, is I don't make enough money. I could have put my family in a better position if I had done X, Y, and Z. And just, people don't think of that as guilt necessarily, but
It's
it motherfucking is, man.
yeah,
Yo, fuck
It's
yeah.
shit.
it's self
That's a good one.
it's self
Yo.
it's self-inflicting guilt that we put amongst ourselves. We always put like a barometer. Is that the right word?
Yes.
Oh, good.
I
And
believe
if
so.
it's not, it is.
It sounds like the right word. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we should just stick with it.
All right,
What
but
you put the barometer?
we put this imaginary barometer for ourselves, and if we don't meet the qualifications to keep on par with that barometer, then I
There's
really
a
hope it's
standard,
work.
dude.
And we really dead ass be like, we would like feel like shit. Like we would feel
Bro,
like
the amount of times my wife has had to talk me off the proverbial ledge, the figurative ledge, because of the guilt that I'm feeling, because I feel like even just me tearing my fucking knee, bro. The guilt that I felt because I knew I was gonna miss certain things or I couldn't do certain things with them or I had to stay home, whatever the case may be. Just that guilt as a man, I was like, damn, bro. That was part of the reasoning that I felt the way I felt. And
mm,
like it was like a huge disappointment in myself because I feel like, damn, I let my family down.
And then the reason for that guilt, you tore your ACL, and although nothing has happened, what you're thinking about is the future. You're planting in the present, but you're like, yo, this is gonna affect X, Y, Z. I'm not gonna be able to go to work tomorrow. I'm not gonna be able to. It's those things that hit, and it's like I think at that point you guys already had your home, right? You had a home. You were paying a mortgage already too.
Yeah. I
So it's
mean,
like
can I tell you the first thing I said when I tore my knee? The dude came up to me after I tore my knee. One of my boys came up to me. We are playing ball. He was like, "Yo, you good?" I was like, "Nah, this can't happen. My kid has a game on Saturday."
mm,
It was my kid's first baseball game. It was t-ball at the time. That's the first thing that came out of my. It wasn't like any. It was like that's the guilt that I felt.
that's
Like I tore
fucking.
my knee and I might miss this kid's game. I didn't miss
I
that
love
shit.
you for that.
Yo, I showed
You
up.
did it.
I showed
That's
up, bro.
fucking dope. That's
And I was a
fucking dope.
and I was a coach. I have videos of me hopping on one leg, teaching all these kids how to hit and field and all this other shit. But that's the first thing that came to my mind. First thing that came out, damn, I'm gonna miss my kid's game on Saturday.
I'm glad this glass came at a good time. Cheers to you, my man. Cheers to you. I think that's so profound right there, son.
yeah. Nah, yeah, that was dope, man.
I'll have a little vulnerable moment, I guess. Mentioning guilt, missing the childbirth of children, can be a moment of guilt because that's like a once in a lifetime experience. It only happens once in that child's life. So like missing it, then you start feeling guilt, like damn, I missed their birth. Now I gotta make it up to them. Now I gotta be there for every little thing because I missed their birth. So like having those conflicting thoughts or that guilt can also be overwhelming, and it's kind of like hard to like live up to your own standards, knowing that you should have been there or could have been there, but for X, Y, and Z reason you weren't there, and you still gotta live with it and just like, I guess, be the best person you can be no matter what. But that's just still like in the back of your head, and you know, this
Mm,
is shit you gotta live with.
That barometer.
the barometer. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, man,
Damn, bro, that was deep, bro.
should be hitting, man.
Could only imagine.
But yeah, it's tough, man, when you're facing those like points in life where shit can go like really far left, really far right, and you're just trying to like hold shit down. Like try to like grab everything from like snapping out of place, basically like Loki and the multiverse movie, whatever he's doing.
Or
It'd be
like
feeling like that, man. Like I
the
could,
Spider-Man scene when he's holding
yeah,
that train.
The train. I was thinking about that one.
exactly. It really be feeling like that. You're like a, what is it, a rock and a stick in between two rocks or
A
whatever.
rock, a rock in a hard place. But it's
Yes,
about
sir.
your bounce back game, though. See, you tear your ACL and you say, "Yo, fuck that! I'm not missing my son's game." You show up whether you hop in or
Exactly.
not. You miss the birth of your child of your child. You go, you know what? I'm not gonna snort this line of cocaine next time. I'm just gonna keep pushing through it. And I'm gonna make it through it. I'm gonna make sure I'm there for my boy in the living moments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's the bounce back game. That's the most important part. Because we are going to life is gonna fucking life and it's gonna kick our ass and we don't know when it's gonna happen. It doesn't tell us, there are no warnings, it just fucking happens. And when it
Mm.
fucking happens, you're not gonna be ready for it. No matter how many precautions you take, you're not gonna be ready for it. Oh, we got the nursery, we got the crib, we got this, we got that. But then something's always gonna go wrong. You can't, you're never gonna be ready for what life throws at you, but you can be ready to bounce back from whatever setbacks you might encounter along the way. Because one thing is going to be guaranteed is death. And another thing is that life is going to fuck with you. You're going to
Mm.
have shit that's going to fuck with you. So it's just a matter of, yo, I, I didn't fucking count on being on this goddamn couch today and feeling this way. I had a great day yesterday. Yesterday, shit was solid, bro. I had a great fucking week. This shit came out of nowhere, and I'm just like, yo, why?
The cloud.
Why? Okay, let me figure out why the fuck I'm going through this. I jump on a podcast with my boys, and it's like, yo, what happened earlier? I don't even know what happened earlier because I took all those little fucking steps. My bounce back is crazy, and tomorrow, best believe this shit gonna be good. I'm at a beach. Like, what am I complaining about?
Yeah. And I think one like a medicine or whatever, a cure for a lot of this sadness is being able to like laugh it off, laugh at life, laugh at the curveball, not like in a sadistic, psychotic way, but just like laugh because like shit is funny. It's like, yo, it had to be me. Like only this thing could only happen to me, and kind of laugh it off to like let it slide off of you so it doesn't dig deep into your psyche. So. I don't know. It's a good like self defense system or something. You're able to laugh it off and keep chugging forward because as men, we're gonna deal with everything in life and we're not gonna be able to react to everything, especially not in a negative way. So best thing to do is probably just laugh at life, at what life throws at you.
Because we can't take everything too seriously. Not everything. The barometer for things ain't the same. It ain't equivalent.
Yeah,
That
we're
shit
all good.
changes. I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes shit is serious, and you gotta like bear down. Ain't no laughing matter. But sometimes you gotta be like, yo, you know what? Fuck it. I keep pushing forward. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, if you're able to laugh at your pain, then that's a good sign that you're probably on the right track. You're healing.
No,
Um,
yeah, do that.
and
Yeah.
that's why these
My bad.
comedians sometimes become one of the best philosophers out there because they just find ways to learn that life is fucking life. Life is gonna life, and you got to find ways to laugh at it along the way. There's a time and a place for everything. Obviously, you got to process your feelings. You got to go through that sadness. You got to go through the emotions. But like Irvin, emphasizes that bounce back game gotta be great. Like for even Harden, the Pokemon Harden, he didn't. He had no attacks. Nothing. All he did was harden. But at some point, he had to evolve into Butterfree.
Nah, that was B drill, B.
What was his
You
evolve?
talking about Metapod.
Yeah, Metapod.
Metapod. I called him Harden.
Yeah, I thought you were
But that
talking about
was
the
his
basketball
move.
player.
Harden turned
Harden
into
was the
B drill.
move.
That was his
Harden,
move.
No,
He
that
only
was the
had
move.
one move.
It's the
All
move
of
called
wasn't-
Harden.
Wasn't there one that turned into the B?
Yeah,
Isn't his name
Cocoon.
Harden?
Kakuna.
Kakuna.
Yeah.
Kakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. When he brought up Harden, I'm thinking he's talking about the step back.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
He said, you got to move hard. I'm like, step back? What is he getting at you? But I got you, bro. I got you.
Thank you.
That was a good analogy, though.
Thank you. I don't know where it
For
came.
all of our nerds here.
Yeah.
Clearly we geeked out too. We're like, oh yeah, Butterfree. Caterpie. No, but that was motherfucking deep in his thoughts, man. That was a good question. The questionnaire. That's what I'm gonna call him.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like he always comes up with good questions. I'm just here to answer them. I ask no questions. You know, I realized that the last episode. I was like, yo, I don't ask nothing. And if I do, it's like dumb shit. Motherfucker be profound in this shit, B. I mean, I'm just sipping wine on a beach. This motherfucker come through with what's the deepest emotion you got in your bag? Like, damn, nigga. Wow.
Yeah, I guess since I don't think I opened up too much about it, but you know, as you see in Inside Out,
Yeah.
huh?
No. Go ahead. Keep going.
In Inside Out, there's like a lead emotion that typically takes the wheel. I would say sadness would be the emotion that takes the wheel for me a lot. But you can use that same emotion and it could become your superpower because that's just that just represents maybe a certain part of you, like your sensitivity and your compassion towards other people, like the way that you could tap in and meet people where they're at, which is a great quality to have as y'all do it with parenting and stuff like that. So there's always a way that you can always formulate and become an alchemist and create something out of nothing. You could get creative. You could write a bachata. You could do, you could use that and create something. So like it's never the end of your story. If you're still alive and breathing, then you can overcome it.
Mm.
I got a question.
Oh shit.
So
Five, dude.
there's a common denominator, I feel like, and I think if you interview or ask the same question to 100 men, maybe 97 will answer very similar to what we just did, which is
Damn.
sadness, sorrow, and guilt. Why do you think that's the case for men?
You know, I was actually surprised. I thought at least one of us would say anger, especially because I remember in my upbringing, I struggled with that emotion a lot. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
I struggled with that shit a lot. But I'm sorry, what was your question, Roberto?
No, I struggled with anger myself, but I think it kind of goes back. I don't know if it was earlier in the episode or the last episode where Irvin mentioned, like, at some point, I think it's the last episode, we were all hotheads at some point, but we just kind of found ways to not outgrow it in a sense and find different ways to kind of, in a sense, manipulate it. But the question was that the common denominator for like that question that you asked, the answer is, some combination of sorrow, sadness, and guilt. And I feel like if we interview or ask that question to 100 different men, like 97 of them are going to answer the same thing we just did. And I'm wondering, like, what do you guys think is that? Where does that come from? What's the root to that? To men
It boils
feeling
down
that
to
way?
vulnerability, bro. Vulnerability. I think that's what it boils down to because previous episodes we mentioned that. We mentioned how we haven't been raised to like be able to communicate. The reason why we have people coming up to us and letting us know, hey, I like how vulnerable you're being. We don't really get to see that. We don't really get to hear that is because that's what happens. And Now it's becoming more and more the norm to it. You know, like people are starting to become more open. Maybe they don't communicate the right way, or maybe they don't have a grip on it. But I think that the reason why that would be so prevalent is due to the fact that, like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure we're all have been in a similar boat. It hasn't been the safest environment to be able to communicate those things, because it is always a whole man up shit, and it is always this and there's always that. And don't get me wrong, there's some truth to it, but it was the way it was delivered to us. It wasn't delivered to us in a let me meet you at your level, let me grab you in the face and tell you, yo, it's okay for you to express yourself. Instead, it was like told to us, hey, no, you need to get over this. All right, so being that you're so knowledgeable, looking right at you, tell me what it is that I got to do, since you already know what the process is. And I don't think we receive that. And as a collective, really, it's especially men our age, like the younger generation, they're probably going to receive it more. Now, the reason why I said the whole find a solution for Landon, for example, like, hey, all right, so what is it? Let's get back down to it. And so that he can learn that. Because I think that the younger generation might be getting too much of a pass when it comes to it. The older generation got no pass when it came to it. And I feel like we're in that sweet spot. We're in that time frame where, all right, we have the opportunity to be able to communicate this shit effectively. So I feel like that I wouldn't I feel like 97 out of 100 men, that is a really big number, but I wouldn't even dare to challenge it, which I think says a lot, because there's four of us here right now. So if we were part of that poll, that shit would be 100%. So it's like it's not one every four people, one every four men. So I feel like it's a bitter pill to swallow, and I don't think, and the issue with that also is that not too many women, which is essentially what we look towards. Like I love women. I love the bond that I can create with a woman. I love the band that they can provide with me and for me. So to me, you know, their opinion is very important. When I speak to my female friends, it's openness. And like, you tell me what you got to tell me, and I'm gonna reciprocate. I'm gonna reply back. But I think that I, all in general, women don't provide that safe space as often as they believe. So when we express ourselves, they go, well, this is, and then, all right, so now you're making us withdraw. When I give you something, you're in the wrong relationship, you give something to your partner, they're gonna make you feel like you're doing too much. Oh, why are you doing this? And then they might get disrespectful. Why are you being such a bitch? Why are you this? Why are you that? So a lot of men deal with that. Don't get me wrong, women deal with that too. As people, we should do better. As a community, we should do better. Like you said earlier, we're not in competition with each other. So why the fuck do we even go there? But I think that it stems from that. There's a lack of openness that you can have with people. I don't experience that because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say what it is I gotta say, and you take it or you leave it. But I also don't go up to a woman and start. My immediate reaction is to just cry on her lap, because I don't do that. If you see me crying, it's because I am extremely open with you, and it got to that point and it overwhelmed me, and I couldn't handle it myself. I always do try to handle it myself, regardless of how open I am right now. I didn't call you guys earlier today. I got through it, handled it myself, and I can talk about it. Does that mean that's always the what I do? Nah. If I had my lady partner, my lady friend, my wife, or if Cesar would have been next to me, or one of y'all would have been next to me at the moment, yeah, I have no problem giving off my emotion. But that's because we've created that safe space. If that safe space ain't created, then we just heading down a path, getting into this hole that it's going to be way more difficult to climb out of, because we don't have any kind of support, any kind of environment that's conducive towards the advancement of getting rid of these negative feelings. But I wanna come back for a moment and mention how Cesar would see the positive in an emotion like sadness. That's how you're able to do this and channel it this way. So perspective and intent and like the way you're maneuvering around that emotion also plays a big factor. So I really like that you said that, boy.
Thank you. Appreciate the shout out. Nah, you went in, bro. Te fuiste. Yo pensaba que yo me fui lejos, pero tú estás lejos, loco. Tú estás in
Es
Florida.
que yo no hago preguntas, nada. Yo lo que hago es contesto. I just. So you know how offense and defense. You playing defense all game. Yo, I just saw Cesar play the best defense of his life. He had no offense. It was 2 days ago. My man was
Hard.
locking up, son, hard. But that's why I'm not asking questions. I'm just all answers. B. All my energy towards that. I'll do better next game. I'll be more versatile.
But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead, Hasel.
Don't
Um,
get shot now.
I was gonna say, because Roberto asked like, why does he think most men will feel that way? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because of like the responsibility, the expectations that are kind of put onto us, being like possibly the head of the household, or just being men in general. Like, we're supposed to lead and protect and all of that stuff. So when those things don't go our way, or things don't go as expected, it starts to, I guess, you know, play at our psychic, at our manhood, or the expectations of that barometer, right? Like, damn, like I wasn't able to cook for my family, or I wasn't able to get stuff ready for them, or whatever, and it's like that you start feeling like a failure, basically. And I guess that starts to, like, get us depressed, get us sad, and have to deal with all those things. Or maybe like having friends and not being able to save them or protect them. Like, you have a friend, they could possibly overdose or something, even though you knew that they were fucking around with stuff, and you might have tried, or you might have not even tried to talk to them about it. And then you have to, like, live with the outcome of those interactions, right? So I think that's why a lot of us would probably fall under that, like 97%, because we take on that burden, we take on all of that.
It's that pressure that, and I think we kind of alluded to this earlier. Even us, we ourselves add pressure to ourselves, self-inflicted pressure. We have pressure from others, obviously, but and that could have stemmed from a lot of places, but maybe it stemmed from something in childhood where we felt like we never were doing enough. Like me personally, that's something that I struggle with. Like I always feel like I'm never doing enough. Like that's one of those things that no sé de dónde viene. It's
Mhm.
there. I acknowledge it, but like that is a struggle that like I gotta kind of keep reminding myself like you gotta see where you came from to see where you're at now, so that you don't self-sabotage yourself so much. Yeah.
Now that you mention that, and I'm on the opposite. I feel like I had to do too much to kind of like stand out. I
Mhm.
guess people overlook me often or whatever, and like in a school setting or something, like I have to be the first to answer. Not have to, but to stand out, I'll try to be like the first to answer, to show that I comprehend and I understand, and people be like, "Oh, this guy's actually smart. He's not like a short dumbass or whatever." So that burden, and that, trying to just fit in, I guess, and fit in and stand out at the same time, could put on a lot of pressure. So I know growing up, I felt a lot of that pressure, trying just to like fit in and stand out at the same time.
I can kind of relate to that a little bit because I think my personality has always been like to just have fun, laugh, joking around and shit like that. And I felt at a certain point that people forgot that I'm one of the most educated motherfuckers you're ever gonna meet. And that's not like me trying to like, gloat or anything like that. It's the truth. I know shit that a lot of people don't know, and it's just because I study life in general. Like I know facts that people don't know, and that's just me. So I kind of had to like put them on game at certain points and just be like, hold up, wait a minute. I'm not just a funny motherfucker. I'm a smart dude as well.
We just not handsome. We smart too.
Yeah, I got it all. I'm the full package, baby.
Talk
I'm
that
just here
talk.
to
We
laugh.
the prize. We the prize.
Just here for a good time.
Exactly. Yo estoy en la playa, yo estoy relax.
¿Tienen final thoughts de esa pregunta? ¿O tienen otra pregunta?
Bro, if you don't have a question, I don't have a question.
You know me, B.
You don't got questions, just answers.
No. I'll have questions soon. The thing is, y'all ask such profound questions, and then one of y'all answer something, and y'all got another question on the fucking hoster, and I'm just like, damn, you motherfuckers is ready, B. like y'all said, y'all a lot smarter than people would think. You're not just a short dumbass and a handsome, funny dude. Unfortunately, I'm just a handsome, funny dude. That's it. That's where it goes. I think Cesar said the same thing, right? High five.
I'm an idiot.
We just trying to have that fun, B. we might sound like we know what's up, but
They're emotionally intelligent.
Appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
we know some good facts too, like Harden and shit like that. This is a fictional fact, but barometer, we know big words.
By the way, the definition of barometer is an instrument.
I think we used it wrong, by the way.
I hope not, because we done killed that word this entire episode.
I looked it up when
Cesar
said it, but I was like,
barometer.
fuck it, I'm gonna let it rock.
Yo,
Nah, that's fucked up.
we were spamming that word.
Wait.
It
Go ahead, read it.
All right. An instrument measuring atmospheric pressure, used especially in forecasting the weather and determining altitude.
I think that's.
I mean, hey, you could use it as a,
Listen, it was. What was it? What was that first sentence? It was measuring altitude and
pressure.
whether or not we were gonna react a certain way to our emotions or not. Whether or not things worked out. You know what I mean? So I feel like
we could use it
matters.
figuratively.
This is where I tell you I'm an educated motherfucker too, because there is an emotional barometer out there.
There is.
There is. It's a visual aid used to help people identify and understand their emotions.
Wow.
He wanted to make sure everyone knew he didn't use that word incorrectly. I mean, I think we could have just stuck with the word standard, but I feel Cesar trying to,
Nah,
elevate the playing field.
Barometer hits this.
Barometer hit 100%. I feel like we couldn't have gone wrong with that one.
We may name this
like
episode Barometer.
I was thinking that too.
What's the barometer?
They're gonna be like, yo, what? And then they're gonna see this part and be like, yo, these motherfuckers, they stopped using that word. We learned that shit today at 2 p.m. That's funny as fuck. Yo, I can't stand the sweet red wine. I cannot stand it. Yo,
What? Why?
Yo, this shit is nasty, bro.
Like it's too sweet?
Too sweet, son. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
This is. Oh
Gotta put-
man, I can't
you
wait to see my face react, my facial expression after because I
Yeah.
felt it like, what the fuck?
When it's too sweet, I put ice in it.
Nah, this shit nasty.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm gonna
it
drink it
seeps
anyway. I'm just. Oh,
What the heck?
Leilani came out of nowhere.
She walked on water.
She thought she was low.
She walked on water.
She was there standing like, oh look, I don't pop up in the background. Oh yeah. Come here. It's all right. Hello everybody, it's my sister. Get out of here.
Just pulled her.
I don't know
into
why she's
existence.
wearing her boxing outfit at the beach, but I don't ask questions. I just got answers, all right? That's it.
But on that note.
On that note.
And a pleasure, everyone.
So next time, continue to like, sharing, and subscribing, and give us some feedback and let us know what else what do you want to talk about?
What do the women that are watching this, babies, what do you look for in a man? Let us know. Let us know what it is that makes you be like, that motherfucker right there, Damn. Let us know. Let us know.
I like that.
Yeah, because come on. At the end of the day, why do I get a haircut? I think I get a haircut for y'all schmucks. I don't. I don't have a haircut now, so I got a fucking scully on in the middle of the beach, but you know what I'm saying?
In other words, ladies, let us know what your barometer
Let
is.
us know.
Thank you for tuning in.
Peace.
As always, till next time.